The ATR, or average true range indicator, is actually a derivative of an earlier indicator, which has to be understood to understand exactly what the ATR is doing. Now, while the original indicator, the true range indicator, is hardly used, the ATR is fairly common as it gives very quick and accurate information. The true range indicator, the grandfather, if you will, of this indicator, was figured as one of these three following possibilities: the current high minus the current low of the chart, the absolute value of the current high minus the previous candle's close, and the absolute value of the current low minus the previous candle's close. So, in other words, it was the true range of the currency pairs. So the average true range is just simply the same thing, but it is a moving average of those particular calculations. And quite often the standard is 14, so here we are on the dollar pound weekly, so it would be an average of 14 weeks. The last 14 weeks true range is the ATR that's being displayed here. Now, the ATR doesn't necessarily predict direction, but volatility. So it shows the range of the candles, and they are going lower and tighter, and it's getting fairly quiet. And you could draw, for example, one way you can use this is you could draw a trend line, and you can see that we have suddenly busted out of the ATR, and as you can see, we made the move up, and we continued much higher. The range started to tighten and tighten and tighten, and then all of a sudden we had this real smooth drop, as although we were rising, these were fairly small candles. And then right about here we started to pick up a little bit, and you can see that the average true range started to grow slightly and volatility increased. This is a indicator that some people will use as a primary indicator. However, a lot of traders will simply use it to confirm momentum shifts through trend line breaks and things like that, because the idea being that if you get a nice break of a trend line, for example, and the average true range has suddenly spiked, then that means there's been a move with some kind of conviction, and that, of course, should get your attention flowing. As you can see in this particular example, the pound weekly has just been slowly grinding up in a very tight range. So this has been more of a range-bound type market. There's been times where obviously when we fell precipitously there, the ATR just shot up to the stratosphere. So again, can be used as a primary indicator, like I showed with the trend line on the ATR, but many traders find it as a useful secondary one for trend line breaks and trend line bounces and things like that.